Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this. Because if you've been paying any attention at all, you know that software development in 2026 has just fundamentally transformed. We're literally in the middle of this massive, ground-up shift in how engineering output is actually generated. If you're building software today, you absolutely need to understand the tools at the very frontier of this change. So today, we're unpacking the 2026 AI coding tool war, taking a really close look at the three dominant platforms: Cursor, Devin, and Claude Code.
But first, I actually want to start with a question for you. Think about your day-to-day. Are you still manually typing out your code? Or have you embraced the new paradigm of agent delegation? Because the data tells us the way we work is shifting dramatically, from being, well, typists to being orchestrators. We're not just prompting for little snippets anymore, right? We are managing digital teams. Here's the roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll cover that shift from typing to delegating. Then we'll compare the big three: in-editor IDEs, terminal CLI agents, and autonomous cloud engineers. After that, we'll look at the token efficiency battle, and finally help you figure out which one fits your specific work.
All right, section 1, from typing to delegating. This is the real paradigm shift. You see, we've totally moved past basic generative AI. Old school generative AI was just about prompting an LLM for a quick code snippet and pasting it into your file. Agentic AI, though, that is a whole different beast. It refers to systems that autonomously make decisions, use tools, and actively work toward achieving complex goals with minimal human supervision. You basically just give the AI an objective and it figures out the actual steps to get there.
So the absolutely crucial point here is this: engineers are moving from writing code to orchestrating agents. You're no longer bogged down managing syntax. You're managing multi-step workflows, complex data pipelines, and reviewing final outputs. You're the commander of the codebase now. Which brings us to section 2, in-editor Agentic IDEs. I like to call these the visual commanders. This category is totally dominated by tools like Cursor and Windsurf. These are AI-native IDEs. Basically, think of your familiar VS Code, but with AI baked incredibly deeply into the core experience. This is absolutely perfect for developers who are into what people call vibe coding. You know, when you want that deep codebase awareness, but you absolutely want to stay in the driver's seat, watching the changes happen right in front of your eyes across multiple files. Cursor, for instance, gives you that comfortable, familiar ecosystem. But the real game changer is its composer feature, which acts as this incredible multi-file agent. You just tell it to add a feature, and it edits multiple files simultaneously, handing you these clean visual diffs so you can review everything at the code level. With that immediate, real-time feedback, it's widely regarded as the absolute fastest combo out there for spinning up new MVPs and prototypes from scratch. And the real-world impact of this is massive. Get this. In a pilot program, developers at Wayfair who used in-editor code agents set up their development environments 55% faster than before. Think about that. More than half the setup friction just totally gone. It allows developers to just skip to the good stuff and focus on the actual architecture. Okay, let's shift gears to section 3, terminal CLI agents. This is all about the raw power of Unix. If in-editor tools are for visual developers, terminal CLI agents like Claude Code are built for the power users. Look, IDEs are great, but they can get really GUI heavy, and they often suffer from what we call context pollution because they're loading up schemas for every available tool. CLI agents, on the other hand, are text native. They strictly follow the Unix philosophy. They rely on atomic operations with exit codes, meaning the file system is the only state. A test either passes or it fails. Clean and simple. So why do engineers absolutely love this? 2 words: autonomy and reasoning. If a test fails with an exit code, a CLI agent like Claude Code reads the standard error, plans a correction, and just retries entirely on its own. You don't need any special API integrations. Plus, it's incredibly token efficient, which we'll dig into in a sec. And the results? Well, they speak for themselves. Data from TELUS shows that teams using Claude Code shipped engineering code a full 30% faster. All right, moving to section 4, autonomous cloud engineers, the ultimate fire and forget solution. Tools in this category, like Devin and OpenAI Codex, operate entirely differently. You don't sit there and watch them work. It's like a 4-step factory. Step 1, you just assign a prompt or a Jira ticket. Step 2, the agent spins up a totally isolated Cloud VM sandbox and clones your repo. Step 3, it runs sub-agents in parallel to execute the work. And Step 4, it automatically opens a pull request when it's done. You literally delegate the task, walk away, grab a coffee, and it's handled. It's also worth noting how the regulatory landscape is shaping this specific space.
Executive Order 1449 is acting as a major catalyst right now. This mandate prioritizes the cyber defense of government and critical infrastructure systems, encouraging collaboration with the AI industry. To meet these really stringent security and patching standards, a ton of enterprise environments are rapidly adopting these secure, isolated sandbox cloud agent deployments just to ensure sensitive code is handled safely. Which brings us to a really fascinating part of the story. Section 5, the token efficiency battle, metal versus vibe. You guys, look at the sheer scale of the difference here. When independent benchmarking tested these tools on the exact same complex task, Claude Code, using the Opus model, completed the benchmark with 0 errors using 33,000 tokens. Cursor, on the other hand, burned through 181,500 tokens for the exact same work. That is 5.5 times more tokens. When you're paying per token or bumping up against hard context limits, this is a massive differentiator. In taking it a step further to put that into perspective, direct CLI calls average just 200 tokens per command. Compare that to the bulky Model Context Protocol, or MCP operations, that get used by visual IDEs. Those can burn anywhere from 32,000 to over 80,000 tokens just to execute a single tool. This right here is exactly why CLI agents are currently preferred by so many engineers for token efficiency on those complex, long-running pipelines. Finally, Section 6. Which fits your work? It is time to choose your fighter. So how do you actually choose? Well, it breaks down like this. If you're starting a new MVP or prototype, go with Cursor. The visual feedback and real-time generation are just unbeatable. But if you're doing complex bug hunting where deep reasoning is paramount, you want Claude Code in the terminal. For a massive, large-scale refactor, delegate that to Codex or Devin in the cloud, and just let them deliver a PR. For team code reviews, Codex fits perfectly into that PR workflow. And for repetitive automation, Claude Code's custom slash commands and skills really shine. Ultimately, the main takeaway from our analysis today is this. Which is best is the wrong question. Which fits my work is the right one. The 2026 best practice isn't about picking just one of these platforms and ignoring the rest. It's about combining them. You use Claude Code for the big picture architecture and debugging, Cursor for fast visual implementation, and Codex for asynchronous cleanup and review. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on before you open your laptop again. As you orchestrate your next project, which agent will you delegate to? Stop typing, start directing. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and happy orchestrating.